Hey, how's it going? Pardon me. So, take two. I pulled two cards today. I'm going to read you some cards, by the way. And also, before I forget, please look at my signs. Okay, that's enough of that. Oopsie. Let me just make sure my little situation doesn't topple here. Okay. Yeah, so I pulled two cards from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Trying to shade some glare, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. And they were, number one, Tidy House. And the subtitle is Clarity and Organization. Not whatever was trying to come out first. Clarity, to be clear. And excuse me, the second card I pulled was Galactic Mushroom, and the subtitle is Divine Matrix. So before I accidentally cut myself off on recording attempt number one, I had said that the word matrix or the matrix, I heard like a lot today. It seems like more than the normal amount, which was the next thing that I meant to say, was that it's funny how often I see the Matrix on there in reference to like the movie, and I'm sure it's because it's my feed. I mean, it's not unusual for something like that to be there, but it's also in this whole other spiritual realm that the Matrix appears, or Matrix, without the or well, I mean, I guess it does have a the in a sentence, but it's not like, you know what I'm trying to say, I hope. And then here's why I couldn't cut myself off the last time, is because I also pulled a card from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and get up. It was the Hummingbird card, and it's a lovely rendering of the hummingbird, and the icon at the top indicates that it's an air sign, kind of a V being a bird, but no shade. Who am I no shading? I'm the ding-a-ling that just said it. Anyway, so I don't know, my mind was kind of all over the place today, you know. It was like a good day. It's funny because I pretty much spent it indoors because it was raining, and a lot of it was cat interaction and him trying to communicate things to me and me not getting it because I'm learning to convert cat into English, so it took like all day. But I don't know, like my mind was just kind of all over the place. I watched on the Peacock Network the holiday movie starring Melissa McCarthy and some other people. I will link that. And it's called Genie, and it's about her being an actual genie. And the reason why I'm mentioning it, hold on, I can't talk and write at the same time, is because of a funny thing that I just happened to notice. People made kind of a big deal about one of Trump's recent screeds. There's so many lately. Whose job? There must be so many people's job it is to just listen to what he says. So anyway, he was saying some rant, and in the middle of it, he says, "Genie in a box." Now, see, two things happened when I heard it. And the first thing is box, everybody knows they come in a bottle or a lamp. And then I remembered that there was a show on Peacock called Genie. Okay, this is today. I had not seen the show Genie before today. So when I heard that, I hadn't seen it, and I was like, everybody knows it comes in a box or a bottle. What is he talking about? And I just kind of didn't say anymore because, I don't know, I didn't care. But then I watched it today, Genie, and guess where the genie came out of? A box. So I thought, oh, okay. Now this is why it kind of cracks me up, even beyond that, because I think that's pretty funny. But it's kind of like the Mandela effect with me. Like I know it exists, although I don't know if people's reporting of it is accurate. I don't even know if accurate could even apply in that particular discussion because, you know, multiverse. But in my case, I had a revelation about it, and it's a weird thing. When I was a kid and I had the Berenstain Bear books, I got into the habit of calling it Berenstein. And I think it's because at the time there were like at least one Bernstein in the public eye in culture, like musicians and other entertainers and politicians, just all kinds of people of note. And then and now I just kind of attributed it to that because I was used to Steen. However, you know, it was usually Bernstein, which was also part of the confusion, I think, especially as a kid, because it's just not what you're used to hearing. It doesn't have a devoted pathway in your brain, you know, like you kind of have to force it in there. So when I had the books and I was reading it, I know I would think of it as Berenstein, and then all the time when I would pick it up to go and read it, of course I would see the cover or I would see it on the bookshelf and I'd go, oh, the Berenstein. I'd get all mad at it, like, why can't you just be the easy way I know? So it was like, it's not the one thing, it's Berenstain, it's right there. And so, and this was in the 70s, before I even knew of any kind of Mandela or his name being attached to any kind of effect like that. So, although the concept of the multiverse would not have been foreign to me because I was already reading stuff about it in the 70s when I was like 10 or 11. So, yeah, pat myself on the back for that one. Woo, multiverse OG. Anyway, what the hell was I even talking about? So, was it the hummingbird I was talking about? Oh, no. Oh, it was the genie in a box. Wow, I ranged far afield. So, okay. It's getting funnier to me. I hope you think it's funny too, but I don't know if you remember when that Queen movie came out with Rami Malek. That he played Freddie Mercury. And if you're at all familiar with oh my god, I wanted to say Queen. Okay, songs tried to come out, then Prince tried to come out. What's with the musical royalty all trying to jump out? I only want to talk about Queen. Queen has a song. It's a song. It's a good song. It doesn't stonk. It's called Stone Cold Killers. And ever since that movie came out, Trump started to say stone cold all the time. And nobody said anything. Nobody else like put it together that, have you not noticed that he like never said that before? And now he says it like all the time. So yeah, genie in a box. Oh, but the other thing about it is not that it's not even that he misspoke, because I don't think he did, given what I just said about the movies. But the thing is, the news, multiple newses on multiple platforms and cables and broadcasts, we're talking about this guy and the genie in a box. And like, really? And also MSNBC, like, if I see NBC, it's usually on like YouTube. I don't tend to watch just regular NBC anymore. So, or not the news. And so I was just like, does no one notices, like, isn't MSNBC connected to Peacock? I thought they were like very like the same universe. What is it? NBC Universal. I thought it was part of that whole arc, It just seems weird that no one else put it together about that. But anyway, the Stone Cold, no one either did. But the news, sorry, I went the wrong direction with that. The news just, why were they talking about that? There's so much other more important stuff to be fixating on than that. It makes me wonder, like, I remember saying probably like 5 or 6 years ago that I think that people that did the news should be able to emote more, like, allowed to have feelings and opinions, but not to the point where the whole show is about your opinion. I was thinking more along the lines of when Cronkite had to deliver the news that Kennedy died. Like, he expressed a feeling there, an emotion. He didn't go all crazy. He didn't do what they do now. It becomes about everything but news. And the stuff that they choose, and I'm talking like cable news now, the things that they decide are the stories. When you are on like YouTube or probably TikTok or I don't know what else, because I haven't investigated further. Used to be Twitter, but anyway. I don't know, like, how are you getting your information? But you're not getting a bunch of it, I can tell you that, because I see all kinds of stories that I never see on television. And the way they focus on the stuff, too. Like, Mehdi Hassan, his show just got canceled on MSNBC and Peacock. I don't know, they make it sound like two different shows, but I think they were just shown at two different times, because it always seemed like the same episode was shown every week, not two different ones. Moot distinction at this point, anyway, because he doesn't have his show anymore, but I think that was a mistake. They should have kept him, but I think they kicked him because he didn't follow the rah-rah the war in Israel party line, and it's probably a decision that comes from the top, and maybe the top, like not even an actual employee of the company, but like an owner type situation, and they just didn't like what he was saying, and they may not have cared for his personal self because, well, they just might not have liked the guy or his opinions that were sympathetic to, like, Palestine, for instance. And there's obvious reasons for that. I'm not gonna say it. You get what I mean. So, he'll land on his feet, though. He's brilliant, and it's a shame because I couldn't watch it all the time. It was even, like, a bit gristly for me, but I don't like arguing. I don't like to watch people arguing. Arguments and debates, and he's really good at it, but I think I'm just like, it's intelligent, and it's not like, oh my God, what are you even saying? Um, but I think I'm just burnt out on the whole like people at each other thing. So I thought of some other stuff, and I was thinking about how, because it was something else I was watching sent me up in this direction, but someone was saying that weed affects your short-term memory loss, or I think this person was even just like your memory in general. And I thought, that ain't right, or at least it's not right with me. There was a time that I'm going to call the time of the sour diesel and memory. There's a person that I know here through someone else that claims they originated the sour diesel strain of cannabis. And because of that person who does not partake of the cannabis, I became the recipient of big bags of shake. I was very happy with the arrangement. And so me and this person that had the friend would make butter, oil out of the shake, and it was very efficient. And the strain was good, you know, it was fresh, and unlike now where if you get something with that label on it, you bring it home and it looks like the stuff and it smells like the stuff, but when you smoke it, it doesn't do the stuff it's supposed to do because it's been like over mimic or over Xerox or something. The toner is low. Anyway, I did have memory problems, like I feel like pretty bad, and kind of alarming too, because stuff like it could be pretty close term memory and it would just be lost. And or the worst thing was I'd be talking like in a conversation or like I do now, and I would go squirreling off down some other direction off my main thing and not be able to find my way back, and not even be able to remember for real what was I talking about. Like I could have, I just didn't know to just sort of reverse like step by step by step and remember what happened, and then, you know, at some point bring it all flooding back. That is tedious. I still don't like to do it. It's useful in some cases, and it's a good practice. I'm just a terrible practicer. I don't have great discipline, and I am not ashamed. But my memory improved when I was like 98% sour diesel for about 2 years. My memory turned around, and that is why you'll see me forget what I'm talking about here, but I'll be able to like find my way back to what I was talking about and get back on track, which was kind of impossible before the year of the sour diesel. So people with their memory symptoms about cannabis, you know, not symptom, but side effect, bad side effect, like baloney, for me anyway. So, so while I was doing that, I was all, I don't know, I'm talking to myself. There wasn't even a camera on. It was just me. And that's why I need to get a camera and just have one rolling. Because I picked up a piece and I'm all, give it a kiss. And that happened. Like a mouthful of it stayed on me. Or not a mouthful, but few pieces came off and stayed with me. And so when I was doing that earlier, I was all, well, I love it, let me give it a kiss, like I give my cat a kiss, which is very much like what just happened, because if you kiss your cat and it's one of the ones with hair, you're very likely to come away with some on you. But I was all just saying these things to myself, and I'm all, oh yeah, I had said you kiss your cat and come back with a mouthful of hair, but You don't kiss your cat that way. You don't get a mouthful. You get some hair stuck on the outside. You know, you're not like full on snogging the cat hair. Because then you'd have like flea poop and fleas and just wherever you laid it down outside on the ground, dirt all over your tongue and your... This is how I amuse myself. You're not snogging on the cat. Sorry, I'll move on. Oh, okay, so I also wanted to talk about no more piling on. So I had this little cat habitat, like you could fold it up and it had like Velcro and it would be in the shape of a little A-frame and it had a little door for a cat to go in. And the best thing about it was when they would walk in and step on it, it would activate the floor of it and it would heats. Which is why I put it outside, because I know there's strays and like every time I get up in the morning the grass is frozen and I'm like, that had to be a horrible night for a poor cat, because I know they'll go up in cars, you know, like not even just kittens, like full grown cats will all of a sudden come hopping out from under a car, and that's where they go, is to get that residual heat. But it doesn't last all night and it doesn't get warmer all night, and so I just have that on my mind. So I thought, let me put that out there, and I put it out by the manager's place, and I was hoping people would think it was the manager's and just leave it alone. But I went back an hour later to put down water and it was gone, and I thought, wow, I mean, you really needed to take it bad enough that you're just fine leaving those cats outside that way. And I started to get mad, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to pay into that. I'm not going to pile on to, like, that was a, excuse the expression, fucked up thing to do. And I'm not, I mean, I was going to say I'm used, or I'm not used to people stealing from me. I don't want to be used to that. I don't want that to be something that is like something I'm used to, but I have gotten a lot of stuff stolen from me here. And that thing had been on my porch for a couple of years in the cold weather. And so I just don't know who sees what around here, but I know that there's always eyes on you, because there's all kinds of directions that people can be looking at you from, and I don't know where, and I don't even let them look. What can I do? Like, they're allowed, right? But I feel like that thing wasn't unfamiliar to whoever decided to walk off with it. And that was like a bad vibe thing to do, like really lousy. And I was just like, you know what? Don't get mad, because don't add to it. Don't jump into the pile with it and be in the low vibration. So I didn't, because also, aside from like, I don't need any more of that. I need to stop like unloading things like that. Like, how dumb. It just doesn't make you feel good. So it's a habit though that I've had like my whole life. So I kind of have to keep like course correcting away from like thinking about it and going, oh, and it's like, you know what, I'm getting there. So yeah, no more piling on. But we do it all over the place, and I pay attention to this if you haven't noticed, if you care. I will be watching something on YouTube, usually like it's something news related, that'll get my heart rate going up, and I'll be like, wait a minute. I don't want my heart doing that. That is not good for me. I just healed that in myself, and I'll just shut it off, because again, I don't want my heart to get hurt. And I mean like heart disease hurt. I don't need my heart rate going up like that. And for the reasons that the content of the clip that I'll be looking at will usually be like something happening to someone unjustly or something like that. And I mean, I want that to change, but it's not going to change a dang thing if it's just giving me a heart attack while I'm just trying to look at it. I mean, I get it. It's not new. It's just new versions of how to be awful to each other. I don't need to pile that on my heart. Thank you very much. So, last couple of things. I was watching TYT, and Anna was talking to Jenk. They are like the main hosts on the nightly broadcast or whatever. And so she was talking about something she'd seen, some piece of news or some article or something she'd seen somewhere that was talking about red flags amongst people dating. And some of the red flags were like people wouldn't date a communist, and then people wouldn't date a MAGA, and they're like, if someone says build a wall, it's like no. And a guy who I guess was the conservative guy had invited this woman who wasn't on a date, and they start talking, and he said that he thinks there should be a wall, and he said she just got up and left. She didn't even sip her wine. She just left me sitting there. And I'm kind of chuckling, and it is a little amusing, but it's also kind of sad for the guy, because of course they're not understanding why she left. They think it's because he said build a wall. It is because of that, but I feel like it's more than that, and I think I relate. Although I would not have reacted the same way. I don't think. But there's things that would give me pause for sure if I heard someone saying them. Like, I know that I know exactly who I'm dealing with if they start saying build a wall. They're anti-woke. If they start talking about woke, there's stuff like that, there's certain things that people will bring up, and I'll just know, like, okay, probably this person and I have less in common than they would like, or we would like, or whatever. But, it doesn't have to be a deal breaker either, because I know people that fully, like, believe in those things or are adherents of them that I talk to all the time just fine. And that stuff just, it doesn't even come up. It just doesn't even come up. So, I mean, I guess it depends on who you're talking to. But, it's too bad, because when I said that it's not about the wall, it's about when you are someone that kind of takes up those words and phrases that I brought up and the situations that they're attached to. I think what the issue was is that, like, if it were me, people that feel that way tend to hate a lot of people, have a lot wrong with other people, want to hurt other people, think it's a good idea to keep and hold an automatic rifle in your house, and think it's a good idea to equip everybody, including children, with guns. And the reason why that doesn't appeal to me is because I often think when the people are so like, I gotta have my gun, I gotta have my gun, I gotta have my gun. What do you need it for, is my question. Well, for protection. And I'm thinking, how many times have you gotten shot up? How many times have you had a gun held on you? How many times has your home been invaded? See, I understand the desire to have protection under those potential circumstances happening, but people want like more guns, like more, like one ain't enough. And that's when you realize, or when I say you, I mean me, but that's when I realize I don't really think it's about protection, because it ends up sounding, the more they talk, like they just want to shoot somebody. And if you got woke in your lexicon and illegals and stuff like that, or Black Lives Matter, hating Black Lives Matter, I mean, wasn't that in the manifesto of the guy that shot up the market that was mostly black in New York? If like if like, I don't know, feathers or bubble blowing rings were as popular as those guns, I'd be a much happier person. And wouldn't everybody, like, wouldn't there be like less dead people? I know, crazy talk, but just a thought. And the last thing just about my rambling was Genie, and along with that, Bicentennial Man, which starred Robin Williams, and it had Sam Neill that was in The Omen and Jurassic Park, and I don't know, and doesn't matter, somebody else, you can look it up, but Bicentennial Man and Genie, and I'm watching them, and they had two things. The two of them had something in common. They were both brought into the world by someone decent and kind, and so because of the atmosphere that they were brought into, sort of born into, Jeannie was already an adult when she became a genie, because she wasn't always one, but that's in the story. It's on Peacock. Help yourself. And Bicentennial Man was a robot that became an android, and you'll have to look up those two distinctions yourself, because I'm not going to explain that. There's been too much sci-fi, too much data. I'm not going to explain that. Data the android on Star Trek. Duh. Still not going to explain that for you, though. Look it up. But, and Data from Star Trek too, actually, same thing. Something not human that is wishing, like Jeannie could do for everyone else but herself, can wish. And Bicentennial Man, who the longer he lived, the more human he wanted to become, which it had to have influenced Data on Star Trek, because he had the same thing. Very talented with things that humans do, art and music, and they both did that, Bicentennial Man and Data, so you have to see the parallel there. And all three of those fictional beings yearned to be human. You know, like Jeannie looked like a human for real, but she was constrained by all of these magic rules. So it made me think about, like, we humans, as we're like warring with each other and fighting with each other and hating on each other, and also loving each other and saving each other and being kind to humans and animals and mowing people's lawns and fixing stuff that's broken down, like, just, you know, keeping stuff up. It's very human to want to help, and somehow we've gotten away from it, and a lot of us that have agreed to go that path, you know, that's their inclination. Well, I mean, they are certainly providing something for us to all sort of witness and contrast and you know, just sort of notice the way things are happening, like see the signs of life. And I feel like especially with the dating thing, people are starting to come back from maybe such cruelty and just like we've been calling it, just sort of broadly fascism, the thirst for, a fascist political country. And thank God there's not that many of us that thirst for that, because a lot of us understand what it means. It's not just like getting those other guys, because when the whole system is that, you also become the guy that's gonna get God. Like, I don't know what people think. Like, they just think, oh, we're gonna take care of all those illegals and all those BLMs and all those LBGTQ plus QNR BLT. No. They're gonna do that if they get in power, but they're gonna do it to everybody. Like, no one's gonna be special or safe unless you're like a Hitler's mistress type situation, or wife, or whatever. And I wouldn't count on it being such a hot, prize then, because something else I looked at today pointed out something that I started noticing right away, and that the men in Trump's orbit tend to be serial philanderers, physical assaulters, domestic abusers. They're like not great guys. And so, but like in the report today, the guy that they were talking about in particular looks like Humpty Dumpty with a goatee and a mustache. Not attractive is what I'm saying, and that's what they said, although I wouldn't disagree, especially knowing that he has a history of like beating up women. So that's not attractive. That's like I don't know, it was a red flag. I don't want to say black flag because I have good feelings about those, but yeah, that's a huge red flag. And that would be the culture of the Trump or authoritarian what is the word? Just totalitarian. And it would be a regime, not like what we have now that they on the right like to say is a regime with Biden and generally the whole left that's making them feel so put out about stuff. And I don't know that they're so honest about that, but as far as like the genie and the data and the bicentennial man, like I said, I think a couple of days ago, I think there's like sort of cracks or folds appearing in people's desire to keep heading down that road, that Q road, that MAGA road. Because, and this is why the women like are not on the left, are not like so into dating these people on the right, male or female, I guess, is because they are mean and cruel. They're into that. They're into like separating each other when like the other people are like, well, no, we do better together, and then like separating and finding reasons to shoot each other, basically. So I am gonna just like project a future where changes are happening, and these people realize if you would like to socialize with women and have friendly times with other people, butt up on that mean crap, like stop with the name calling and wanting to kill everybody and shouting about why you gotta have your gun because it's in the Constitution. Well, what you're saying is not actually in the Constitution, so please stop that. And stop making people uncomfortable, because that also happens with all the gun stuff. It's just my opinion commentary, remember. I mean, you can have a cow if you want, but I understand it's not a comfortable experience. So let me get to some cards. Let me do it on time. Not too bad. So, tidy house, clarity and organization. I was looking over the guidebook notes and came across some things that I think I wanted to talk about a little bit. So, the guidebook says, clarity and organization, a thorough inventory, and auspicious symbol. If your emotional world feels messy and unruly and you can't seem to get clear, it's time to see how your environment is affecting you. Like, if you're surrounded with people that are constantly talking about guns and shooting other people and like jailing people and, burning them and owning them. And like just the words you're saying, they're not meaningless. What you think you mean or don't mean at the time, like you can you can edit like after, but the initial words have gotten out and they are attached with feeling and they are attached with intent. So it doesn't create a pleasant, it's not attractive, like I was saying earlier. And just kind of like finding fault with people, and especially if it comes with like venom and it's just nasty and mean, it's unpleasant. Like people don't want to be around that, except for people that want to do that, and that sounds like a terrible atmosphere. They're like nice people that want to be nice to each other. Or if you don't like feel like being nice to the other people, go find the people you do want to be nice with. Don't stink up everything. That is not the way. Ask for clarity from your relationships. Do not make assumptions at this time. Don't be all the way on the right, having that lexicon and thoughts and feelings, and want to approach someone on the left to have a romantic relationship with, and assume they're not gonna, like, if you're not telling them, I feel like you already assume they're not gonna like it. Otherwise, you would have been up front with them and they would have decided before accepting the engagement, the date, like, oh, this is a person that is one of those. No, thank you. So, be clear and unambiguous with your communication. It's key. Okay, so that doesn't really apply to what I'm talking about, but sort of. You may choose to let go of some people, or you may get let go of in your life, and to know with certainty that you are, started at the way wrong end of the paragraph. Yeah, you may choose to let go of some people from your life when this shows up, and this being the unclear communication. But like I said, be clear, state honestly and upfront. And if you get that, you might meet someone like myself who would be like, oh, okay, you're this person that believes that, but I can still talk to you and get along with you, so maybe it's not a thing. Being clear can help in those kinds of situations. And so the illustration on this card, I really don't feel has a lot to do with what I was wanting to say, except that I did look at some other stuff that had to do with the number 1 that is on here, which deals with beginnings, and also it's what I found said it relates to courage, strength. It reminds us to stay positive and follow our hearts. It reminds us that angels surround you. Angels surround you. Holds per for, what the hell? Some kind of kooky shorthand. Thought I was smart at the time. Oh, holds power for, instant manifestation. The number 1 holds power for instant manifestation. Aspirational. A spiritual awakening is close. It also indicates a spiritual awakening is close upon us. A mass one. I wonder about cusps and leading edges and trailing edges as far as awakenings. And I was just thinking of the blob, the amorphous blob, that would have a leading edge of people in a hurry to change some in the middle of it are like, not so fast, we'll get there, and some behind going, we don't want to go at all. Okay, yeah, I wonder about cusp, leading, and trailing edges, embracing change. Oh, embrace change. Fear not. Comfort zone. We must leave our comfort zone. The one also stands for leaving our comfort zone for profound growth, or points. May indicate a need to align thoughts and dreams to manifest success. And then the galactic mushroom card. Did I even take any notes on this? I don't think I did. Nope, sure didn't. So, here's a look at it. It always reminds me. I was thinking about this the other day. This picture always reminds me of the Toffee Fay candy. Does anyone know what that is? Remember Toffee Fay? This weird, if I remember correctly, it was like a Rolo with a nut on it or something like that. I remember it looking like this. I don't think I cared for them. Although I don't know that I ever actually ate one either. They kind of, I don't know, they didn't look that good. So, oh, there's a face in there. If you look in the dark sort of Hershey's Kiss top area, yep. What do you think? I want some candy? You could be right. Where's my little... There it is. I just want to show this face a little better. Is that like the air traffic controller in there, or is it driving the bio ship? What's happening? It kind of looks like the ghosts in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. So, oh, this is right. This is the Matrix card, I forgot. So this Matrix stuff that I saw today, it was talking about, you know, the debate sort of about what is 3D? Is it like... Ooh, I can't remember what I was gonna say. Well, yeah, I guess like the Matrix that Neo, not that Neo lived in. I would say that the 3D was more like the ship where they're like supposed to be free, but everybody's all sweaty and the clothes are dirty, and it looks like Brazil in that movie Brazil. I think Terry Gilliam put that out. Or it's one of his, get out of your ear. But, like, that's what the inside of that ship looked like. And it looked, like, clammy and unsanitary. Like, there's drip sounds in the background. But it's, like, this crazy, powerful ship. Okay. Mixed messages. It's funny, it's in that greening space, too. Like, it's a plant. Well, a mushroom is. Oh, but you know what mushrooms... I think I talked about this before. Those stinky penis ones. Like, they look like a wiener, and then they, like, peel back and shoot spores all over like a wiener. But there's leaves. Not on that side, on this side. You can see, like, like, that looks like a branch, and another one over here, and some more foliage. But the reason why I bring it up is it does add a little tiny bit of a greeny, yellowy tone that you could go Matrix-y with. Don't go there. I'm just trying to stop myself from babbling. So I'm going to read from the guidebook real quick. Oh, and then the other Matrix that I was seeing was a spiritual thing that I was watching. Actually, it was... I'll link it if I can remember. I'm getting like a headache now. Anyway, the word matrix comes up in the Bible quite a bit, which that I do not remember, so I'll have to go take a look at that, what that's about. They did like quote a piece of scripture, but I couldn't pay attention at the time, too much going on, but I can always go back and look, because I didn't put matrix together with the Bible, but the video that I was watching was talking about math, actually, and the difference between Euclidean man math and like God math, or I'll link it. Where is a pen? Link. Trailer. I want a trailer, otherwise it's not gonna make sense. Video advice. That's the channel. It was talking about numbers, and that they all have a spirit or something. They were talking about 369 and Tesla, and I guess there was a bunch of Greek and Roman ancient guys that were also into like the 369 and the seed of life. That's another video. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. I'll just stick with the number one. The number is one. Alright, I'm going to read from the Galactic Mushroom Guidebook thing. The Divine Matrix, the intricate complexity of life. You might have been thinking and acting like you were the only one in the dream creating your life. The Galactic Mushroom arrives as a playful yet potent reminder that you need to get with your higher power. The universal laws are not for your benefit only. The law of attraction does not exist just to serve up your desired outcome. The matrix of consciousness, called Source of God, or Source or God, Spirit, and many other names, is intricately woven into life. There is so much complexity that the human mind cannot comprehend all of the moving parts. I talk about that all the time, like all of the moving parts that can fall into place like tumblers in a lock. That is the metaphor. Is it a metaphor? Well, anyway, that is the one I was always searching for, and I kept coming up with the tabs, which makes sense to me, but I don't think when I was trying to describe it, it made much sense to anyone else. So, tumblers falling into place. That is what I'm going to go with in the future if I can remember. Amen. It's impossible. Oh, wait. Did I go ahead? Oh, no. It's impossible to see what you know beyond what you already know. Just as the head of the mushroom is clearly visible above the soil, but not the living biome below, which is like a venal system, a nervous system. Thread-like mycelium of fungi form vast, intricate networks of underground, connecting different life forms with one another in a kind of internet of the plant kingdom. Imagine the divine matrix serving the same way, connecting the individual consciousness with that of the divine. And everybody else, by the way, if it's that kind of intricate network. The Galactic Mushroom reminds you that your dreams and desires are heard. This is a call for faith and trust. Whatever intention you hold consistently with hope and faith first manifests in the unseen realms. Whether or not you can see it working on your behalf, eventually you see the evidence play out in the serendipitous events that work out in your favor, or that work in your favor, seemingly outside of the law of cause and effect. Well, that's because stuff that's going to affect you, you don't have to know about it for it to still happen. Like, in fact, it's probably better you don't know. It's probably why we don't know stuff. Your most beautiful results are being birthed right now, not just for you, but for the highest good of all. Well, that's nice. Well, isn't that nice? Okay, I'm a bit unsatisfied with my mushroom part of this reading, but I'll just put that aside for now. And then the final card that I pulled was from the told you, Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and it's the hummingbird. And so the hummingbird actually, in a flight kind of way, reminds me a lot of the dragonfly, because they maneuver in very similar ways, and I wonder how similar their flapping patterns are. I mean, they're definitely constructed pretty differently. This guy's like a teardrop with wings and the head, and then the dragonfly is like a coat hanger with wings, a metal coat hanger, those ones with the clips. And so I don't know how that would affect their wing flapping technique, construction of their wings for the elevating, flotating. I don't know. So I just know that they're awful cute, and I get real excited when I see them. And at my caregiver's house, she's got two gigantic feeders. They're like, like a hanging flower feeder, but I think bigger and also more globe-like. I'd never seen anything like them before, to be honest, but it was the summer when we drove by her house, because I have my deliveries go to her place so they don't get porch pirated, because she's not on the street. She's back on her property, so it's not like people walking by can just swoop your stuff. And that's why it's there, going there. But anyway, we went by there to pick up some deliveries of mine that had arrived. And oh my God, there were so many of them around she had two of these globular feeder things. And I don't think I'd ever seen so many at once. It was kind of getting chills right now. And they were buzzing up close to her and buzzing away like they knew who she was and stuff. And the thing about them, and I feel because they move so quickly and they live on sugar and they just move fast, everything about them is accelerated. To hear us talk, I bet we sound like that. I bet we move so slowly compared to them. I don't know. I think that's a interesting time concept. Watching a pot of water boil or grass grow. So I took a few little notes down about what it says about the hummingbird. They can symbolize beauty, delight, good fortune, healing. Well, I know, I feel happy when I see them. That's a healing thing. I know that to be true. Significant things about them. Oh, I see. It signifies things about to improve. Look up, stay sunny, mood wise. And you want to be sunny, absorb sun, eat sun, get a suntan, get some sun on you, because it does improve your mood. It does heighten your mood. It's a good thing. And I mean, unless you're hungover and you got to go to work in the morning after a long night of partying, the sun is not your enemy. The sun is your friend. It has an effect on your psychology. It makes you mentally and physically feel better. Excuse me, I gotta take a drink. The chakra's freaking out. I'm talking. In ancient Greece, they were mythologically thought of as being magical because of their, I don't know, I shouldn't have thrown mythology in there, never mind that, but in ancient Greece, evidently they thought they were thought of as magic because of their speed. And the Mayans thought of them as the sun in disguise, which I thought was interesting because it was kind of what I was saying a second ago. They are, I mean, they're happy and bright and they're quick moving, and you just feel like, invigorated by them. And again, that's healing, like the sun. And I'm just going in a circle now. So I think I have, oh, I didn't finish with this. So I feel like this is more of a spirit to adopt than like a lesson in ornithology. Because that wasn't. It sure wasn't. I think that the separation that some of us have agreed, have taken on to represent in our society, in our current lives, our current era lives, like, they didn't create this landscape. It wasn't just their idea on their own, like, this is a collective. Everyone is actually in on that, whether you're conscious of it or not. I don't think these things could happen unless everybody, like, agreed. I don't think things move forward on the cosmic scale of things, like above and beyond our Earth consciousness. Although we're a part of it, we're just like a little tiny cog, We, just like I was talking about earlier, we just are not able to see and or comprehend the whole complexity of it all, like everything. And then everything is that huge, and also like that next to you, as much as this rock in my hand. The separation is not real. It's what we have constructed for one another to, experience all aspects of it. And then, like I was saying, with the folds and the cracks and the MAGA people that are, I feel like, I know they think that their opposite number, the left, because that is the enemy, according to many of them. I don't agree that we're enemies. We're role-playing that. But, we do villainize each other. And I think that we're finally getting tired of it. Like, maybe our leading and trailing edges are like, okay, we are about ready to be done with this, because I know I am. Like, I'm so ready for us to do stuff different, like everything we're doing in every way. Or, like, if it's a problem, let's try to fix it. But let's try to fix it agreeably, so that we're not, like, doing it so that someone's left out and a bunch of people don't have what they want. Let's try to do it so that everybody can feel like they got something they wanted out of it. That is how everybody gets to be kept happy. What's wrong with that? I mean, everybody doesn't have to worry about having 40 guns to shoot each other. I know I'm all hung up on the gun thing. Excuse me for living in America. So, as a bright light to buzz in and just kind of remind us, like, we are, like, doing these roles and winding each other up so we can see each other in the act of all of it and derive something from it that we can alchemize from something maybe like crappy and not nice to good and nice. All right, I think I made my point here. Maybe just to be clear, I think that. And not only on the right, acceptance, if it's going to work between two different camps, let's say, there has to be some happening at both ends. Like, if there's not, like, willing people at both ends, cooperations, they don't happen. But I think we're getting closer to that, because I think we're lonely for each other. I think we, like, maybe gone too far for too long with the separating from each other, the left and the right, and the hard lines about it. And What it's leading to is a bunch of people being real lonely. And so, to mend the problems in our society that are complex, I think there's a simple way to start healing that particular wound. And that's like, let's just start being nice to each other again. I bet it makes all the difference in the world. Thank you and good night.